When you start taking a look for a new job and a new role, there's a couple of people that you need to avoid, but not everybody tells you who the vampires and the werewolves are in a new business. And sometimes you get bit, and sometimes you make friends with the wrong people. So what does this have to do with you and a new position inside of a company, and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan coming to you live for HVAC Technicians Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about new jobs, vampires and wolves, and a fantastic day to talk about you. So heads up, I'm coming to you live. It's a perfect day. I typically don't like to talk about negative things, but this is one of those conversations that we kind of got to have. So you start a new job, you start a new role, and you're looking around the office and you're like, who can I trust? The mistake is to trust everybody right off the bat because people have motives. And so sometimes those motives are known, sometimes those motives are unknown, and the unknown ones can be more dangerous than the known ones. And so you're like, hey Scott, what's a vampire and what's a wolf? The vampires and the werewolves are the people who cause you problems, that try to get you on a team that you would have never guessed and you never would have known about. So this is one of the most common issues that happens. You start a new role and somebody comes in like, hey, let me take you under my wing. Now, a lot of times that's a good person, nothing wrong with them. Occasionally it is somebody you don't want to deal with. What they're doing is they're saying, aha, fresh meat, fresh opportunity for me to take advantage of. And so what you're really going to want to start looking for is the person who always has conflict. There's always a problem. There's always an issue, plus confusion, right? In the dating world, they have this thing called spinning plates, where somebody is seeing multiple people and they're not making commitments. A werewolf or a vampire inside of a business typically has some narcissistic traits, and they will spin plates. Like they're spinning plates over here. They're telling one story. They're trying to make magic happen over here, and the stories never add up. You're like, hey, there is some confusion here, and I can't quite figure it out. I can't understand why this is the way that it is. You may be dealing with a vampire, or you may be dealing with a werewolf, right? And like in your mind, you should just be thinking like, what is their motive? Because not everybody's got pure motives. You got to question. You're like, hey Scott, do you have motives? Yeah, I shoot videos in hopes that somebody says, I need somebody to be a corporate sales coach or a sales trainer or a consultant for my organization or my company. My motive is very clear. Do I want a management job? No. Do I want to run a company? No. That's not what I want to do. So people who come out and say, hey, here's my motive, makes things really easy. It's when they're hidden. So in a new job, you start at the company and you're like, kind of feels like everything's going right, except. So I am not a huge fan of skepticism, except for in a couple of cases. Like when I'm looking at a relationship and it's brand new, I'm like, what's really going on here? Right? There's a saying like, if you sit down at a poker table and in the first hour you can't figure out who the patsy is, it's you. Well, this is true inside of an organization. This is true for sometimes when you're being hired. And I will tell you, sometimes it's the hiring person who has a motive. Sometimes it's the person that brings you on board and they're like, this dude or this chick is going to fulfill a role, or they're going to be cannon fodder for inside of the business, and we're going to get rid of you anyways. Heads up. One of the things that you may not know is somebody who is a consultant, their job is to get fired. My job sometimes is to go into a company and say the things that the people who work there can't say because they're going to get fired. So they're like, hey, Scott, can you come in here and say this thing in front of everybody? I'm like, why don't you just say it? And they go, oh, because if you do, you're going to lose your political capital and you've built up all these relationships inside of the business. I get it. So I will share with you, sometimes in sales coaching and sales training, I'm brought in and people will say, what's up with the team? And I'm like, that dude, that chick, person in office. And then they go, you've confirmed our suspicions, right? Sometimes people like me are brought in to be the villain, to be the vampire and the werewolf. I don't like that, right? I don't like knowing that that's what people are saying. Hey, we want to bring you on for. Like, why don't you just do it? Like, just be an adult. Put on your big girl pants, your big boy pants, your asbestos underwear, show up at the office and be like, hey, things aren't working out. But no, sometimes it just works out that way. You have to be aware of the vampires and the werewolves inside of your business. They are out there. You got one of three things to do from here. New business, I should say. The vampires and werewolves in your new business. You got one of three things to do from here. Just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Here's the thing, sometimes you're like, hey Scott, what does Hawaii look like at sunset? Well, you got Diamond Head right behind me, okay? But let's flip the camera around. Let's make sure that the camera, this is what I'm looking at right now. While I'm filming the video, this is exactly what I see. So sunset's in about 22 minutes. There'll be a nice one today.